Hello everyone, and welcome to the 8th session of our life group semester as we explore together as a church our study of the Sermon on the Mount. It's my hope you've made some new connections while strengthening existing relationships, and you're just simply having a good time being with one another. Hopefully you found the information we've been sharing over these past several weeks as insightful and helpful, and has created some great conversations within your groups. And I hope you're ready, as I am, to dive into this week's discussion. And let's do that by my asking you a question. And that is, have you ever considered the idea that there is a reason to why we do the things we do? Think about it. When we head into the kitchen to grab a midnight snack, we do so because we're what? Hungry, right? When we get up in the morning and we get dressed and we head off to work, we do so because we are looking forward to the paycheck that goes along with it. We do so because, well, we have bills to pay. Again, there are reasons behind the things that we do, but also, as we will see in the passages this week, there are also motivations behind the things we do as well. And those motivations can be both good and bad. Listen, if you will, to the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 6, verses 1 through 4. He says, "Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. So when you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and on the streets to be honored by others. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you give to the needy, do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be done in secret. Then your Father, who knows what is done in secret, will reward you." Interestingly, my dad really enjoys Westerns. And I believe there are a number of different shows he enjoys, but one that I recall recently him mentioning is Gunsmoke. Have you ever heard of it? For you younger generations checking out this week's video session, it first aired in 1955, and I will tell you, it ran for 20 seasons, a total of 635 episodes. The show was set in Dodge City, Kansas during the years following the American Civil War. And the show followed the lives of U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon and the citizens he was sworn to protect. Now, I only mention this TV series to you because in the old Western-styled films, set designers would create a town that appeared to be full of buildings. But each structure on the film set was indeed a facade. A building might look like a saloon from the front, but there was literally nothing on the other side of the door. In other words, it wasn't a true salon at all, but the mere appearance of one. And interestingly enough, Jesus in the passage we just read mentioned the idea of hypocrites. And I can't help but think of these false towns on these old Western film sets being a lot like the hypocrites Jesus was referring to in Matthew chapter 6. In fact, I recall recently a highly respected Bible teacher once mentioned hypocrites as being play actors given an external appearance of spirituality without its accompanying internal reality. In other words, what you see is not necessarily what you get. Similarly, Jesus would also say in Matthew chapter 6, verses 16 through 18, "When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do, for they disfigure their faces to show others that they are fasting. Truly I tell you, they have received their reward in full. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to others that you are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen, and your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you." Now, the premise of these passages is really fairly simple. If we do what we do, whatever it is that we do, whether it be dropping an offering in the blue buckets on Sunday morning, providing a blanket to, say, someone who is homeless, offering a helping hand to a coworker or a neighbor, or even choosing to fast, if we do so for the sole purpose of honoring Jesus, then He gets glorified and He gets the praise for what we do. And it's important for us to understand, whereas the Lord can see the outwardly, as we all can, what matters most to Him is the intent of our hearts. Now, you may be wondering, do I have to do my charitable giving under the cloak of darkness, somehow operating incognito, not sharing with others the good things that God has called you to do, not celebrating how He used you to do something good for someone else? Wondering if someone finds out that we've been given something to someone who is in need, do we automatically somehow lose our reward? Listen, Jesus is teaching us the issue is not about people discovering and being witnesses to what it is we're doing, to Him, as I just stated a moment ago, is really a matter of motive. If we give for our own glory, it doesn't matter if no one finds out, because we will still have no reward from God. But if we give for God's glory, it doesn't matter who finds out, because your reward will remain because you have given with the right motives. The same thing holds true in fasting. Allow me a very easy example that perhaps we would all understand. Every year at Coastal, we communicate that as a church, we're going to be participating in a 40-day Easter fast. The premise behind the fast is simple: to prepare our hearts and minds for the coming Easter season. We fast because we want to honor Jesus and the sacrifice He made on the cross for all of us, and in anticipation as to what He might do during our Easter services. Now, if we communicate that we're fasting, does it mean we won't reap the blessings of honoring Him? Of course not. Again, we should understand the Lord's focus was on the motives behind what we do. Friends, the Bible admonishes us to give God the glory for everything we have and everything that we do. In fact, the Apostle Paul would say in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do it all for the glory of God." The psalmist would also write in Psalms 115 and verse 1, "Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory because of your love and faithfulness." So often people make the mistake of doing things so they might receive recognition. Do things that might afford them an opportunity to receive some notoriety. In fact, one of the many things Jesus would rebuke the religious leaders of during His earthly ministry was just that: an ongoing quest for recognition, for prestige, honor, and notoriety. And as we just read in the passage, the earthly rewards would be all they would ever receive. And mind you, those rewards are so fleeting and ever so faint, a mere counterfeit, if you will, to the real thing. And as it did with them, will leave us wanting and hungering for more. But in studying the passages this week, Jesus offers a reward to us that never fades with time. He offers a reward that lasts for all of eternity if we would just give honor and glory where it truly is due. So allow me to encourage you to, one, listen to the Lord's leading today, to seize opportunities to serve Him and others in your life, to be vigilant in seeing urgent needs in the lives of others, to be as charitable as you can be, serving when and wherever you can. You see, at Coastal, we live by this idea that we want to be known as a generous church, a church that is both alive and active in the community, because we know that we find life when we give our own lives away. So in your groups, think and then maybe talk about how you might be able to glorify God in being charitable this week. Discuss how you might celebrate what the Lord uses you to do in the coming weeks without receiving glory for yourself. Maybe even take a few moments and share what His rewards might look like as opposed to the rewards of this world. I have no doubt there will be some interesting and engaging conversations this week. And I just want to say thank you for sharing your thoughts with one another, for doing life with one another, and for doing your part in making our church as great as it can be. Have a great week. Know that we pastors and staff are praying for you, and we'll see you in the next one.